All right, Mike. Get back on. We'll go get Cart at the pavilion.
Yeah. Let's go to the pavilion.
Says Sheriff Lieutenant Breeke got a call of a property dispute at the Yasgur-Brucher property line over a carnival that had been brought in by a guy named Solomon Cohen. And they were illegally accessing the Brucher property across the Yasgur property. And we were like, well, that's the Brucher line right there. And so we pulled an aerial, in fact, and you could see the carnival's hidden in plain sight for 40 years, right on an aerial. You didn't realize what you were looking at.
So this property,
it's about 300 acres in the
Audrey went to get parts.
historic site.
oh my God, oh my goodness, I have been talking about good idea.
Mike, go take that golf cart. Any question with an answer, it seems like it's probably right. So, feel free to ask anything. All right.
Gotcha. What a salesman.
At the museum, I have a staff of 3 people. So, we have 3 people whose job it is to interpret, preserve, and collect basically the mission. And then 47 people that throw parties.
Oh, I'm in. I can get a job here.
You can throw a party.
Oh.
Hey! Requested a tour, which then I did, and Steve drove. So I had Steve drive, and about halfway through, because Steve thinks he's the funniest docent on staff. Okay? But halfway through he says, how am I doing? Am I passing my driver's test? And I said, no, you're not allowed to talk on your driver's test. And then, this is why he's funny, or opposite of that, whatever that is. But then the rest of the time, he just drove and went, Mike, no talking. So, this is the pavilion. You saw a show, but you guys sat up in the lawn, right?
Yeah. Right.
I'm going to tell you something from my perspective. So, I came in 2020, and we didn't have a season in 2020. Can you guys hear me all right? Or if I come up there between, I'm going to be behind a pole. And then in 2021 we had a real truncated season, right? We started in July and we had 13 shows, I think, and so it may be the right way to be introduced. I've been like my first year here, we had 30 shows, like we have this year, maybe I wouldn't feel the same way I do about the job. But my experience here is every show is different. And so we do 2 things from a management perspective. One is, so we are here a day after a show. Museum opened at 10 o'clock and we have guests that come at 10. And the expectation from staff and from at the site is that if you show up at 10, you don't know there was a show last night. Mm-hmm. And so staff stay, all full-time staff stay and pick up garbage, pick up chairs, and everything is cleaned so that when the site opens the next day, you don't know that 10,000 empty beer cans were picked up last night. But in that, I have done a show, the Zach Brown show. So that was a sold out show. We have 5,000 seats under roof, 12,000 seats on the lawn. We call this a 16,000 seat amphitheater, though 12 and 5 doesn't equal 16. And when we sold out Zach Brown, it was 15,075 tickets. So that the sellout is just right under 16. And after that concert, the lawn was just littered. That was the first show of the 2021 season. And like, I thought, oh, this is like, how can you manage this? This is just, it's awful. And it's hours. You're picking up garbage for hours. And then that same season, we had James Taylor play. James Taylor was a sold out show. And at the end of the James Taylor concert, everybody in the lawn picked up their garbage and took it with them. And there was not one, like it was just night and day. And like I was like, that's the audience. Those are two different audiences for two different acts. They treat the site differently, but they also, their life experience is different. All right. So last night was an interesting show to me because the audience seemed a little bit younger and a little more playful, like it was fun. The lawn was fun last night.
It was fun.
And my wife says, I've never been to a show where it feels like the pavilion is empty, but the lawn is packed. And it's like people came to that show with this kind of understanding that it's going to be a lawn party. And that's kind of what it felt like. And we had a great show. Like my wife and I we liked the show, and it was fun.
How many were at the show last night?
So we were anticipating 6,000 at that show last night. It looked more like 8,000 to me because the lawn was just, it felt like too many people.
The lawn was packed. I took pictures of the lawn, and it was.
But I know that we were doing, we had upgrades that you could buy again because we just hadn't sold a lot of seats. So that's an interesting thing. We typically have had seasons here that are about 20 acts. I think a good season is 20 acts. Part of that is, based on our, not based, but we have a membership, and if you buy a membership and you get 20 shows, that's feels like value for your money. Like when we did 13 shows with that cost of that membership, I know that there was not complaints, but because people understand, we're thrilled we're open.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I heard a couple people of the people that are donors enough that I interact with them through the museum stuff we do. They were just like, 13 shows a little light for what I feel like we get. But that's then followed by this season of 30. This is more shows than we've ever done before. This will be our biggest year, bigger than the 50th anniversary in 2019.
Because you guys were jammed.
Yeah, and so in 2019, we had a monster season, but we were ranked on Pollstar's the 13th largest selling outdoor music pavilion in the world. In 2021, with the horrible season we had, we were the #1 outdoor music pavilion in the state of New York.
Wow.
All right, this is what we wait for.
Who's that?
Anyone know what that is?
A kookaburra?
No, it's not a peacock.
A ghost.
That is the call of a red-tailed hawk.
Oh.
Goes off every 9 minutes.
Oh, to keep the pigeons out.
Yes. And it lets us know that we are time to leave.
What? Genius.
2 acres of concrete, acre of roof. But I don't know what our total acreage is at this site, though. I'm going to guess it's with the lawn. We're probably 30 to 50 acres. These turns right here, we should turn around and watch Mike do it. This is the test. To do a docent tour, you got to pass the test of these 2 turns.
No talking, he found the turn, right? And
We
not
have-
get the recycled container.
We have several VIP levels. VIP, you can buy boxes, right? We have levels where, but it's the access to VIP, which is really the thing that I think people are interested in. We hire a chef. We have a chef on site, or a chef that kind of runs all of the food service, but he works at VIP, so we do pretty high-end. Did you have VIP access at the show?
No.
Or just lawn tickets?
No, we just had lunch.
So the VIP is fun. I don't work VIP. I work the green room and close up.
Should have taken that
Oh, yeah, we want the
zebra one.
the cool.
I've gotten to drive that once. I don't think that was me though.
That was Mike.
Probably Mike. All right, we're gonna come into artist.
Session. I like that. Dave Matthews Band. This is Star. Bob Dylan. Jimmy Buffett.
Show. Last night we had 6 semis and 6 buses come with that show. So there were 5 buses lined up there and one around the corner. I saw those. We typically begin unloading a show at 7 a.m. First thing to unload is lights because they go up first, right? So we have union gaffers come, they'll pull lights out and get lights up. Then sound system will come out, and then there's a whole process. I think we aim to get like a sound check on around 4 o'clock. That's kind of why member gates and such get staggered, so we open gates at 4, 5, 6. Just can't open gates until sound checks are done. So,
We heard them.
Yeah, we did.
We heard because we were just.
so,
Does the acts bring their own people to set up, or you have to provide them?
so that's an excellent question. I'm going to open this door and we're going to talk about that.
Mike has the key.
Mike, get the key.
Where's Mike?
With my luck today,
Oh.
I was able to get the music, so I can control the music at the museum, but that took like a year. All right, so here, look at these. These are, you can pass those around and look at them. These are riders. I think there's one from Santana. Oh, and there's one from Dead and Company. 2 of them might be from Santana.
What they require at
What
their...
they require.
When a show puts out a contract, the contract comes with a rider. Like, so if you sign the Live Nation contract to bring the tour through, every artist has a different rider. Well, there's a joke, right? We used to talk about, I think it was Led Zeppelin and their rider, said bowl of M&Ms with all the brown ones picked out. And so often the writers have things like that are specific to the dressing rooms. One of the stories in the industry is the important part of a writer is like the sound system. Somebody asked that question, right? Or like I use drum mics. The band would be very particular about the drum mics at once, how they want the mics, what mics on what drums. And so you can't go to the stage and check the drum mics, but if you walk into the room and there's a bowl of M&Ms that all brown one picked up, then you in your mind you're like, well, they've read the writer, they fulfilled the writer, it means the drum mics are correct. So it's not that the artist is necessarily being goofy, right? Or what do you call that? Yes. I think that there's I believe this is the story here that oh, she did fireworks.
Katy Perry.
Katy Perry, I think, played here, and in the rider was like 30 stuffed teddy bears in the dressing room or something. Last time I gave this tour, there's a lady in here working on the rider, and so that was interesting too, because she was saying, oh, I'm working on that right now, and she was talking about then stocking the rooms with specific drinks, which is in the rider. I think one of your riders, it'll have the rooms and how many and what drinks are supposed to be in the room.
I
So-
said like 15 still
Because one was a private room with a bed.
All right, so let's look.
Oh.
Not bathrooms, star rooms, right? So we're in the room, and we have this is mirrored on the first floor, but with chorus rooms. So the room is twice as big. and has these around the wall. So if you dancers or choir or something like that would be down there. This is the individual artist room. So our TV, again, that'll show the stage feed, but you can also get out and watch TV on it. Typically, here we go. So this is, evidently they wanted Spring Mountain water, right, and Perrier, and energy drinks.
And they have leftovers.
And it looks like they ate the energy drinks, and then must be a fruit plate. So every time I've been in the room, these are set up differently. Sometimes when I do these tours, and you can tell by these writers, you can be in here and there'll be 2 couches. One time I was in here and there were just tables. One time I was in here and all the rooms were cleaned out and all the furniture had been put in one room. And then, but there's also negotiation because, like, one of these things says, I think it was for the Dead and Company. I can't remember how many people are on stage, 8, and they all require a private dressing room, but we don't have 8 private dressing rooms. So there's some give and take with what you have. I can tell you, this is one, if not the nicest back of house of any music pavilion in the country. And it was specifically designed to be that. So you interact with the founder's family. There was very particular things set up about what they wanted to create. And the atmosphere, again, we talked about this, that Woodstock is the first festival that really tries to create a holistic environment to see music in. But Bethel Woods really has recreated that idea of creating an environment where everything and every interaction is about excellence. And this is a fun place to work. I will tell you this, one of the things that I say when I talk about people of being here, I've never heard anyone complain here. And I have never been on a staff where people didn't complain. And so for me, it's just, it fits with kind of what I want, where I want to work. That the people are just very professional, and everyone aim at trying to create this excellent experience. So that starts in a way here in the dressing rooms, and they're very nice, and they're maintained very nice at great expense. What is a funny thing too, these kind of things of how you manage, but all of those walls are faux painted, and if there's damage to the walls, we have to bring in a specialist to do that, to fix that, and it's really problematic. We'd probably been better off had they been playing
Just white.
flat,
Yeah.
flat tan or
Do
something.
they get damaged often? Come in?